In order to print multiple sheets, we will need to use the print organizer through the sheet index in order to do that. So if I go over to my sheet index, and for this example here, I don't need to come in here and select this edit option. All I would need to do is expand out my folders that I would have just to kind of show me what sheets that I have contained inside of here. But if I go to my sheet index, I can select this option that says Open Print Organizer. And then in my print style name, I will select PDF Sheet. And once that's up, it's going to bring me up this design.pset option. And we will talk about this pset option in a different video to where you can save it out for maybe a different print option for a different print set, but we're not going to worry about that for this example. So if I come through here, whichever folder that I select, since these are contained inside of this folder, if I were to try to print this out right now, it's going to try to print out all of these sheets right here. Same thing for my cross sections. If I want to do a single one, I could select it, and if I try to print now, it would just do this single sheet. But we're going to print out multiple sheets for this particular video. If I go to plain sheets, I could come up here, and once I have that selected, I could select the print option if I want to print out all of these sheets. So I will go ahead and select print. Now inside of here, you got some different options. The only options that you would need to probably look at are these options right here where it says submit. You can submit it as a separate job print, where it'll go through there and print those out into separate individual PDF files, or you can come through here and print it out as a single job print, and it would take all of those sheets that you have inside of here and print it just to one PDF file. And that's what we'll do for this example. You can also select the option that says open print file after destination, and of course it would open up that file, which we're not going to worry about for this example. Now if I'm ready to print this out, I will go ahead and select OK. Now it will go through there and print all of these sheets into one single PDF file named design.pdf. And once it's finished, if I go back into ProjectWise, you'll see that that PDF is now created. So if I double left click on it to open it up, you'll see that we have a single PDF file that contains all of those sheet files inside of there. Let me go ahead and close that down, and I will check this one back in. And that may be a pretty good option if you need to send that to, let's say, like a individual that wants to see maybe certain plan sheets or traffic control, where it doesn't have to be single PDF files. It can just be contained into one PDF file. That may be a good option for that. Now if I come back in here, another option is I could create them out as single PDF files. Let's say I want to do my typical sections and my quantity sheets. Hold my shift key down and select the ones that I want, or I can hold my control key down and select whichever files that I need, like what I'm doing right here. But once I have those files selected, over that selection set, I can right click over it and do a print. And inside of here, instead of it submitting as a single job print, I can come in here and do a separate print jobs. Whenever I do that, I do have the option to use the source file directory for the print destination, which basically means that wherever these DGN files are stored at for these sheets, it's going to create the PDF file in that location. Or I can define whichever source destination location for all the PDFs. The other thing that you need to look at if you were to print these out is to look at your output file name. You have some different options underneath there. So if I select this down arrow, you'll have a bunch of different options of how you can print out those PDF files for the name of it. So for like right now, it's set to print definition name. And if I do the preview, this is the way it's going to look. It's going to look at the print definition name for that. So my name is actually going to be 2.pdf. Typical sections -2 sheet.pdf. So if I come back in here, let's say I want to change my output name to be something else, I could do that. Maybe a good one would be sequence and the source file name. And if I click on preview to that, you're just going to look through here, and the print definition name is 2, typical sections 2, typical sections 3, just basically the way it looks inside of here, and also in your print organizer. But the output name is going to be whatever you define using this output file name expression. So you would just kind of look at that, determine which option that you want to use, then go ahead and print those. You do have the option to do a custom one, but for right now, we're just going to use these options right here that are set up by default. So if you want to print those out, just go ahead and select OK. And then if I select OK to this, it'll go through there and print those out into separate PDF files. So with that, those are some options with the printing of multiple sheets where you can create those out as separate PDF files or a single PDF file that contain multiple sheets. And then once, of course, those PDFs are created, you can store those wherever and you can send them to whichever plotter that you wish to print those to.